From all reports, the Society's Jaeger and mechanical forces in all regions have been driven back. We'll be maintaining alert status, but I think we'll be standing down from that ourselves soon. That's wonderful. What a freaking day. Invasion's over and the weirdness at the towers has stopped. Guess we can finally take a break. One can hope, at any rate. If only I could understand what the enemy's plan was. You don't seem like you're in a party mood, Estelle. You upset about the kiddo? Yeah. I was just thinking, I was all on a righteous high horse without even knowing why she joined. I think I just made things worse. Estelle. I've always been kind of sheltered from the really nasty stuff in the world. So for me to try and save someone like her, maybe it really was just a selfish dream. No, Estelle, I don't think so at all. Huh? Ren is, in the truest sense of the word, a genius. She's capable of understanding any information she comes across and can turn it to her advantage. She's capable of adapting to any situation in her way, and she can control her surroundings perfectly. As far as I know, she was born with those abilities. Wow, I knew she was capable, but thinking about it, yeah, that's all true. Before the Society took her in, she was in a horrible situation. Worse than what I went through in many ways. Unlike me, though, her heart never really broke. At least not in the same way. At this point, adversity is just another obstacle to her, one she can overcome with guile or force. Rather than shutting down, she became as flexible as a snake, more so than any of us. But hang on, even if she wasn't heartbroken or whatever, she's still... Oh, trust me, I agree. No matter how happy she might say she is, she's obviously in pain. It may have been years ago, but in all my time with her, and it was a lot, I've never seen her get that worked up. I think your words reached a part of Ren even she doesn't recognize. That's something only you could do. Joshua. Well, nuts, when you put it like that, how can I be depressed? Just you wait, Ren. Next time we meet, I'll get to your real self. You can do it, Estelle. Never gives up, does she? Wouldn't be Estelle otherwise. Anyway, that aside, what do we do now? I don't feel safe just cruising back to Grancel without knowing what the Society was really up to. In that case, might I suggest a stop at Leiston Fortress? We can consult with General Bright as to what to do next. Oh, good idea. I think that's for the best. Well then, Julia, please set course for Leiston. By your command, my lady. Blast it all, blast it! Grandpa? Professor, what's wrong? You seem really worked up. That data crystal you found in the tower. Capel just finished analyzing it. Okay. Calm down, Professor. What was recorded on it? The function of the tetracyclic towers. You were right, in part. The 4 towers were built to keep the Aureole sealed away in another dimension. Hang on, what now? In another dimension? How in the world? Why in the... Wait a second. So the Shadow Towers were... Yes, I suspect you're among the first humans in a millennium to travel dimensionally. And the Gospels, they're... Yes, indeed, conduits for the power of the Shining Ring. Weissman? Yeah, it's Weissman. Oh, Weissman just hacked into the RSA's communications. No. Ren hacked into communications, and Weissman is just taking advantage, benefiting from it. Weissman? How in the heck? That man, is that... How is he doing this without authorization? Leon, report, what's going on? I don't know, ma'am. I just noticed we received a transmission and then we lost control. Forced computer entry. Hacking, some call it. I suppose having these advanced computers aboard the RSA backfired on us. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, Professor Russell. Yes, it's just as you suppose. I must admit surprised that you were able to realize such a system on your own. Though I suppose it's no surprise, coming from a student of Epstein himself. As full of yourself as a balloon. I'll point out, Professor Weissman, that our flight controls are not networked to any other system. You won't be able to crash us or force open our doors or any other such harebrained nonsense. I wouldn't dream of it, regardless. I simply wanted to contact you to ensure you are properly informed and prepared. To make sure you knew of the coming moment of glory. What? Moment of no. Let me see. Given your position, the best place to see it should be your foredeck. Good evening then, everyone, and welcome to the new age. A new dark age? Joshua! Let's get to the deck. Where? Best seen from the foredeck. There! A tear in the fabric of space and time? I don't know, it's looking like a mech. Maybe this is like the mech's head? What? It must be... What? What? A city? That does not look like a city. It must be that flying city. Yes, it must be. That's it, that's the Aureole. Hells. Captain Shores, land the ship, now! Pardon, Professor? You have emergency orders from Cassius, right? If you don't hurry, it'll be too late for all of us. Very well. Oh, it's shutting down the entire city. Wow, that's got some range. Oh, it's not just the city, it's the entire country. Ooh. Minus the Glorious? What? The Glorious just happens to be outside its range. Somehow. They were able to calculate the exact range of the shutdown phenomenon. Makes sense. Marvelous. My goodness. Holy hell, that's something. Isn't it just wonderful? This is astounding. Now I understand why you are making such a big deal out of it. It's nice to see that all of you understand its worth. The Aureole itself had long been sealed away in another dimension. Despite this, it has always been possible for it to influence our own dimension through the Gospels, which act as terminals. There was just one problem. We had no access to the originals, and so we were forced to create replicas. Only the most accurate would do. Any less, and the Aureole would have remained forever unattainable. After much trial and error, we managed to successfully create perfect replicas. These true Gospels finally allowed the Aureole to remove the shackles that restricted its power. And so here it is, returned from the dark abyss in which it was sealed. That was the purpose of Stage 3 of the plan, I assume. Indeed. My comrades in arms, thanks to your labors, the third stage is complete. And now, our plan moves into its final stage. Okay, so like, if the Aureole is a city, which it didn't look like a city, but that's what they're saying it is, so we're gonna go with it. Are there people trapped in the city that were also trapped in the alternate dimension? Or was it just the city itself? Because the city would have people in it, right? So the question is, did Chloe's ancestors originally come from the city and then they migrated because they're animals, but then they moved to Liberal and established the kingdom and sealed the Aureole away? Are there other people in the city who are also sealed away with the Aureole? Is the Aureole actually a people, a race of people, and not just a thing? And these people were subjugating the people of Liberal, and that's why they had to fight back and seal it. Also, with Ren, if she was a genius, is it possible that, like, her parents were tricked into leaving her, and that's why they left her with those others? To, like, experiment and discover the depths of her genius? Like they were told it was for her own good? To help her reach her potential or something? Questions. So many questions. Goddess. What is that thing? It's huge, ridiculously huge. That thing must be more than 5,000 arj across. It's like a giant floating island. No, look closely. The base is artificial. It's more a floating city than an island. A city? Well, we can't just sit here. We have a whole new city to rob. Alright guys, listen up. We are getting onto that flying city island. What? Seriously? Of course I'm serious. I've never been more serious. If those society fools have brought that thing back, then think. It must be full of incredible treasure, enough to pay our debts 10 times over. You've got to be kidding me. We can't just go waltzing into something that huge. Josette, back me up here. Honestly, at this point, I bet there are things on that city I want to. Like, beyond treasure. Like Joshua. Oh, Adios, save me. Kyle does have a point, though. Things have been weird all day, so we should probably be careful. I mean, for starters, the radio's been silent for ages. That is true. Guild and army transmissions are one thing, but even the civilian channels are dead, which is... Huh? What? A wave of light? Oh. What happened? Report. Boss, big problem. The generators and flight engines have cut out. All of them. What? Wait, that means... we're really in trouble now. The flight field from the engines is dissipating. The Bobcat's not answering her helm at all either. Uh-oh. You're kidding! You mean we can't do anything? There's only one thing we can do at this point. What? Pray. Pray to Adios that it's not our time to be called to heaven. Oh. Oh, crap! Welp. Let's hope saving Estelle and Joshua from the society earned them some good karma today. So that's what the light show at the towers was about. But you kids pulled off a genuine miracle this time. Let me give you your reward first. Adios knows you've earned it. Still, what madness we've fallen into. I never thought being deprived of orbments would throw us into this much chaos. No kidding. Sorta makes you realize just how dependent we've become on orbital power. It's true, communication, transportation, defense, production. Every single major function of society is effectively paralyzed at this point. For most people, I think the real worry will be the lights in the kitchen. From the sounds of it, the city was really in a tizzy last night. That's being kind about it. People were mobbing the guild house, the Aureole workshop, the mayor's mansion, all demanding answers. It was awful. Everyone wanted to know what had happened, and I had no answers to give. Frenzied fools practically kept me up all night. I see. Sorry, Lugrin. With the floating city on top of all this crap's getting dire. Feels like we're one step away from friggin' panic. Well, the people of Liberl love peace, so I do not personally expect a riot. Immediately. Should the situation continue for too long, however, people may begin to lose hope. Yes, we must do something about this, and quickly. So then, everyone. What's this plan you said Russell has to bring back the dead, turn water to ambrosia, and save us all? Bring back the dead? Well... Professor Russell's come up with a new invention that isn't too far off. This, everyone, is my latest invention, the Zero Field Generator. Zero Field what now? Put simply, you are aware of the special warp field the Gospels produce, yes? This is a circuit which produces a field to nullify that warp via a resonance wave that does not qualify as simple under my definition. If I understand correctly then, Professor, this can actually reverse the orbital shutdown phenomenon. Whoa, what? Is that true, Professor? Prevent it, more specifically, but just so. Ultimately, the shutdown phenomenon is just orbital energy being absorbed by the Gospels. Where the energy went was a mystery, but having come this far, I think we finally have an answer. To the floating city, to the Aureole. It is the only answer which makes sense. The Aureole uses the little holes between dimensions generated by devices which we call Gospels to cause the phenomenon. Gospels are, all things considered, small holes, so the area affected was thankfully minor. With the Aureole made manifest once again, however, that area has grown immensely. Does it just cover Liberl, or does it cover the entire world? Enough to engulf the entirety of Liberl, and even beyond our borders, I'd imagine. All of Liberl. So that's what's causing all this. Yes, I find it likely that every orbment in the country, without exception, has stopped working. However, the zero field generator can stop the interference of the Aureole. Which is to say, put it next to an orbment and that orbment will work just fine. Wow! Professor, that's amazing! So we fire that thing up and everything's cool then? Not quite, I'm afraid. The area this prototype can protect is limited. It can shield, at most, an orbment you could carry in two hands. That small? Aww. Well, heck, that kind of limits what we can do, doesn't it? The other problem is, I only have so many of them. Even as a favor for Cassius, I could only put 16 of them together. 16? That's actually a lot, if anything. Wait, Dad asked you for these? Yes, he requested that I work on these a while back, actually. I scarcely even imagined a crisis on this scale at the time, but it seems he did. I see. Just as I would expect from Cassius, always seeing further than any other man. That being the case, though, pretty clear how we should use these things, I think. Ah, you're a sharp one, Father. I don't quite follow. So in a crisis like this, the thing you need more than anything else is fast, accurate communication. Whether it's about the society throwing bears at people, or where goods need to be taken, if you can't communicate, you're up a creek. Meaning, they should be used to restore communication devices all over Liberl. Is that about the size of it? Bingo! That is a good idea. For the military, not being able to use their guns or airships is dire. But at least nobody else can use their guns or airships either, so we're good? For a while at least? Not having communications between headquarters and our forces is even more serious, however. We should restore communications between Grancel Castle, the Haken Gate, and Leiston Fortress, ASAP. The guild's in the same boat in a way. If the branches can't get in touch, it'll be hard to mount any response to anything that might happen. Sounds as if we're all in agreement then. Well then, Captain Shores. I'll provide 10 zero-fuel generators to the Royal Army. That should give you enough to cover the Arce, the capital, the gate, Leiston, and all regional posts. You have my thanks, Professor. I'll order my men to distribute them immediately. And the remaining 6 go to the Bracer Guild. That should be enough to restore the phone in each guild branch. We'll get right on it. We'll see them safely there. What? You can get the phone working? That would be a great help. Please set up that 0, whatever it was, right away. No problem. Tita, would you do the honors? Sure, give me just a second. Tita opened the lid to the phone and put the ZFG inside. Okay. Done. It's all set to go. That was, kind of faster than I thought it'd be. All you really need to do is put it in the right spot inside the phone. Okay, now for the moment of truth. Tita flipped the switch on the phone. Ooh. You did it! Nice, looks like it really does let Aureole devices work. So next I need a test to see if the phone will actually connect. I'll try calling Grandpa. He's on the Arce, which should have a working phone. Tita dialed in a phone number. Hello? Ah, Grandpa. Yeah, it's me. I'm at the guild house in Bose right now. Yeah, it's okay. It works great. Uh-huh. Okay, I will. You do your best too, Grandpa. I think it's connecting okay. No kidding. Professor Russell saved us again, it seems. I'll have to drown Russell in beer and steak next time I see him. Speaking of thanks, Russell seems to be aboard the Arce still, but where did the princess and the churchman go off to? Oh, they both headed to Grancel at dawn with Captain Shores. Chloe said she wanted to talk to the Queen, and Kevin said something about the Archbishop, I think. I see. I imagine the royal family and the church have their own crises to deal with right now. The good news is they agreed to deliver a zero-fuel generator to the Capital Guildhouse for us. I would expect to get a call from Elnan at some point. Excellent, coordinating with him will help. You lot are off to the remaining guildhouses, I take it. Yes, that's the plan. What I'd really like to deal with is that floating city, but wouldn't we all? It seems like our society friends are already there too. We can't lay a darn finger on them with our airships grounded. Real heroic spot to be in, huh? There's little point in flogging ourselves over it. Right now, we must focus on what can be done. Yeah. Yes, let's get to it. What are we gonna do? They took both Kevin and Olivier away from us. Shara? Surprisingly, Agate is the lowest level out of everybody. Not sure how that happened, but here we are.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Zin. Okay, obviously airship travel is right out for this, so we'll be walking. Where should we go first, Roland or Rouen? Neither choice is better than the other, really. All of the guildhouses need working phones, so all we can do is pick a direction and go. Good point. I think Joshua has a point. I suspect there will be people who need our help no matter where we go, so we should just get to it. I hope we can help all the people in trouble. Yeah, okay then. During the shutdown phenomenon, only characters equipped with a ZFG with a zero field generator can use Orbital Arts. Equip a generator in the accessory slot to use it. What? That's not fair. Furthermore, as Tita uses an orbital cannon, she cannot act in any way other than movement or her gunpowder-powered Cannon Impulse S-Craft without a generator. Okay, so she can use her S-Craft, even if we don't put a generator on her. Alright. Actually, do we have other quests? Oh, there are. Cool. Red Fang. Well, we have the Black Fang with us. Let's see if Black Fang beats Red Fang, huh? Extremely strong direct attacks. Good to know. Crone Trail. Okay. Doom. Alright. Long range combat. Okay. I'll leave distributing Russell's generators to you. Remember, one each to the Roland, Ruan, and Zeiss branches. Be careful, you lot. Thank you, we appreciate it. Since we are in bows, let's actually take Agate with us.
This ought to perk you up.
Oh, alright, nobody up here anyway. Does Tita have dialogue? Nope. Alright. Mayor Maybell has been running herself ragged trying to address every little thing with the town. Yet she still somehow manages to keep popping her head back here between meetings to make sure things are running smoothly. I tell her time and again not to worry about the restaurant, but she won't hear a word of it, of course. She's so much like her father in that respect, always pushing herself too hard for her own good. I thought it was just my ornaments that were broken. One look around the city, however, and it was plain to see the problem extended far beyond myself. Whatever shall we do? Hope and pray, hope and pray. We were in the restaurant when the riots erupted in the city. A lot of people were gathered in front of the guild, and they spent all night yelling at each other. The restaurant was pitch black too, so I couldn't tell what was going on at all. You wouldn't believe how scared I was. All the commotion was terrifying. If not for Mayor Maybell, we would have had riots on our hands. It's times like these when people need to be at their best and work together, not behave like that. I hope to never see such shameful behavior ever again. Makes sense. Oh, hello. Seems like the world's in a rough spot, but my business is going quite well. While the major suppliers are having trouble distributing, I'll be taking the opportunity to expand my markets. Working without Orbital cooking tools is no big deal. You aren't a real chef if you need some fancy equipment to whip up a decent meal. The Orbital stove's not working. The head chef's waving it off like it's no big deal, but to me it's a huge, huge deal. I've got to learn how to work an old-fashioned stove, and fast. I was in the wine cellar when the ornaments all stopped. Thanks to that, I ended up having to find my way out by hand in total darkness. I was covered head to toe in dust by the time I got out. What awful timing. These are the same people who barely blinked an eye when a dragon literally fell out of the sky and rained fire and destruction upon their heads. But all of a sudden, the lights go out, and they just cannot cope. The scheduled flights aren't running? Darn it all, just as I get off work too. How long are they going to keep us waiting here? I need to hurry to Ruan. Our ship was stopped and docked before it could even take its first morning flight. There's some kind of severe problem, so we can't take off. None of the passengers were injured, thank Adios. If this had happened after we took off, it really would have been a crisis. Man, there's a bunch of customers here who don't have any place to go now that they're stuck here. We're trying to pull together some lodging for them, but you can imagine how much of a mess that is right now. Apparently, it's some kind of engine fault with a cause they can't determine. I've used these ships for years, and this is the first time I've ever seen something like this. Scheduled flights are cancelled. It's not a surprise, I suppose, with ordnance the way they are. Still quite an issue. Shipping will be impossible for the moment. I'll have to look for a buyer locally somehow. Hey, what's wrong with the ship? Why isn't it going? Oh dear, I didn't think we'd be stopping here. My child is with me too. How am I to get home? I'm going over the Cecilia's engines, just in case. If she's been knocked out by the same thing that's gone to the rest of the ordnance, I'd like to know what the internals look like. Gonna take a good, close look inside and figure out what happened when it stopped. The engine not functioning gives us more problems than simply getting airborne. Heck, we had to operate the ramp via hand crank. I do wish our passengers understood the theory behind orbital engines a wee bit more. The goods I ordered were supposed to arrive today. Who would have guessed flights would be cancelled? Well, that's a fork stuck in it. I'll have to find replacement stock from somewhere. It's not just the Cecilia. The guidance lights and ground equipment aren't working either. We've had our share of trouble before, but I've never seen anything like this. I wonder if this is all because of that strange event last night. Good question. Our owner's acting like the riot's something other people did, but he's one of the people who barged into the mayoral residence too. He's sort of excluding himself from that little mess and trying to put on airs, but certainly it's hard on us not being able to use ordnance, but that doesn't make it okay to riot. I'm embarrassed as a fellow Bose citizen. Aha. Oh, hey there, you're bracers, aren't you? I've seen you on the Cecilia a few times. Sorry for our ship being out of commission. Doesn't look like we can leave port, so I'm just getting some grub. Makes sense. My orbital camera stopped working. And here I took lots of cool shots of the Hocken Gate, too. Man, this sucks. I hope I can get them printed soon. I really want to see them. I came to Bose to see the Hocken Gate, but I didn't expect this to happen at my destination. Anyway, I hope things get back to normal soon. Welcome to the Frieden Hotel. Orbital devices may not be functioning, but our hotel is still open for business. I'm sure there will be some inconveniences, but please enjoy your time here. Thank you, we appreciate it. Oh, no matter how much time I spend, this is going nowhere. You can't clean without a vacuum cleaner. It'd be like trying to make an omelet without a frying pan. Broom? Mop and broom? Do those not exist in this highly technological world? Oh, brace it, friends. At the moment, we and Bose are facing a terrible danger. Please give any aid you can to Mayor Maybelle in our city. Sure, sure. That riot last night was terrifying. So many people storming into the mansion. They all looked and sounded so furious, as though they were going to tear the place down. Ah, but Mayor Maybelle is truly amazing, calming a mob as she did. Wow, honestly surprised that people were like rioting first thing. Thank you for the other day. Miss Maybelle is currently as busy as humanly possible. Please, if you can aid her in some way, I would ask you to do so. Sure, sure. Hello again, Estelle. And oh, hello, Joshua. Hi, Mayor Maybelle. It's been a while. It has indeed. You two look busy again. No kidding, I heard it's been really hard on you too, though. Lugerin was telling us about it. I was a little worried when I heard some citizens broke in. Yes, I had to spend the better part of the evening talking them down, and even then I only barely got them to return home. It didn't really do anything to actually assuage their fears, though. I couldn't. Even I'm half scared out of my wits. If this keeps up, I'm afraid there will be another uprising, a much more violent one. It could happen, yes. So long as the real problem remains unresolved, people will be on edge and looking for someone to blame. Right now, though, we just need to do what we can. Staring at the floor and fretting won't solve anything. You got that right. No matter what comes, we'll do our duty as bracers. I feel pretty much the same way about being a mayor. No matter how dark and hopeless the situation may seem, a mayor must remain in her city and protect it. Of course, I believe you will resolve things in the end, mind. Well, no pressure there. We'll take those as words of encouragement. Alright, good luck, Maybelle. Wishing you the best. Huh? What's going on? Why are all these people looking up at? I see. So that's it. Floating city? The floating city? It's so huge. It's overwhelming seeing it from down here. Well, I can understand why the cities are freaking out. We might not be able to do a heck of a lot, but times like this are when bracers have to step up. We gotta do our best to make this better and give the citizens some peace. Yeah. Yes, let's hurry. I mean, what is that? And why have all the orbits stopped working? Oh, what's going on? I don't understand. This is kinda crazy. What should I do? That huge thing in the sky is so scary. Was the dragon just the start of things? From here you can clearly see that island floating in the sky. The moment it appeared, the lights all across the city went out. Just as we were recovering from the dragon's assault, too. What will happen to our bows, I wonder? Speaking of the dragon, if we could somehow find him and convince him to help us, he could just shuttle us all onto the city. And now that our orbits are working again, we can take out the society and stop whatever this is from happening. I've come for the first time in a while to offer prayers to the goddess. Somehow my feet just didn't lead me to the market. I can't find it in me to enjoy shopping at a time like this. Make sense? To think simply having orbits fail could cause so much chaos. As we who possess faith in the goddess, we should feel ashamed. To rely on something like orbits so heavily is a sign of great weakness. Faith in the goddess should be more than enough. I hope that people take this as an epiphany of sorts and come to their senses. No, indeed, it was quite the terrible time last night. The troubled citizens burst into the guild and mayor's house alike and spent the entire night making quite the fuss. Mayor Maybell's powers of persuasion thankfully averted further turmoil, but I've come to realize anew the immense effect orbments have on our lives. Makes sense? All distribution throughout the kingdom has gone kaput, it seems. I have enough stock for the moment, but if I can't restock, then sooner or later shortages will come. This is quite grave. With orbments not working, we won't be able to defend the kingdom. I can't help but feel anxious. Hopefully the Empire keeps to the non-aggression pact, but I mean, their stuff can't work either, right? It seems like orbments have stopped working all over town. The register at our store stopped working too. That's off at the factory getting it repaired. No one really knows why the doors or the fountain have suddenly stopped working, it sounds like. What the heck is going on in this city? Hey, welcome. Minuet's well, but the whole market's a bit down in the dumps. After all, just as everyone's recovered, now distribution's totally frozen. It's not surprising they'd get depressed. I don't care if distribution has stopped or whatnot. I'll be opening the shop just like always. It's at times like this you gotta give people some courage. If it's come down to this, then maybe I should sell that new issue I've been keeping safe. For the record, there was no new issue, so... The lady who runs the confectionery shop doesn't seem to have her normal energy. Well, given the situation we're in, I think that's true of everyone, but still, what's that darn fiancé of hers doing? It's the job of a spouse to support the other at a time like this, ain't it? Geez, maybe I should go lecture him while I do my shopping. Making Castella cake takes fresh eggs and milk. You can't skimp if you want the best. If I continue to be unable to get stock in, I won't be able to keep the stand running. What am I supposed to do? Did we talk to you? The market's really lost all its energy. I guess everyone is really worried about the future. Darn it, I really wish I could help people at times like this especially, but... Makes sense. Even the fountain's tired. I wonder what happened. Orbments are all stopped. Man, talk about one sending you into the dumps. All the lights at my house are out, and my daughter's crying her eyes out. After all, orbments are an expected part of life for her. It was a shock when I realized we couldn't use them. Thanks to the trouble recently, my stock's not come in. My store's opening has to be heavily delayed as a result. Of course, this isn't the time for excuses like those. Unbelievable. It's not just the scheduled liners, but the freight trucks and ships have stopped. All distributions totally paralyzed. At this rate, we're gonna hit shortages real fast. My product's life is its freshness. This is a serious problem. With the orbments stopped, lights and heating are all unusable. Once I'm done shopping for foodstuffs, I need to go look at sundries. When scheduled flights and transport stopped, things are really serious. Anyway, I better go shopping and stock up while the stores still have stock. Makes sense? What should I do? No goods are coming in. Honestly, I probably ought to be considering raising prices here, but... Once before, we took advantage of the situation to raise prices, and ended up causing a lot of trouble for everyone. I can't really raise my prices so easily these days. I need to talk to Buck and figure out a good plan. Didn't you guys intentionally keep your prices low, though, during the last crisis? Thought you did. Oh, Simon. You need something from the workshop too. Yeah, Murano told me to stop by. Dad asked me to come too. Guess everyone's kind of losing it, huh? Everyone's being hit hard by this, whatever the heck it is. Even Trino spent the night turning his house upside down looking for lamps. My family was freaking out last night, let me tell you. I can understand why the factory is so chaotic right now. You can't repair it? What's that supposed to mean? This is just some kind of trick to sell me something new, isn't it? Oh, welcome. I'm sorry you've come all this way, but we're currently not taking any business. None of our equipment is working, you see. Oh, right. Well, that's kind of a problem, isn't it? If we can't manufacture quartz or upgrade our slots, we're kinda in trouble. Yes, it would be something of a waste of our generators. True, but I wonder. Given the nature of our toys, I think the solution may be right in front of us. Really? You think we can use the factory? Well, can't we? Our ZFGs can restore operation to any orbital device after all. Right, of course. ZFG? What are you talking about? Let me explain. Joshua explained that by using the zero fuel generator, the factory's functionality could be temporarily restored. Just for us. And then we'll take it back as soon as we're done. That's absolutely incredible. Please, by all means, I'd love it if it worked. Let's give it a shot then. Give me just a moment then. On activation, the zero fuel generator restored power to the factory's tools. The equipment's working. Awesome. That worked well for the moment. Unless we leave the ZFG here though, it won't fix the problem permanently, and given our mission. We'd better hurry then. So if you want to modify your orbits, now's your chance. Whenever you want to use the workshop, just bring that device of yours along. You'll be able to use our services like normal if you do. Yep, we'll do that later. Enough talking, hurry up and fix it. I have fishing to get to. Stop yammering and do something. Pretty sure you don't need orbital energy to do fishing. If you have to use an orbital fishing rod, you're not a real fisher. Those two at the counter are being completely unreasonable. I feel really bad for the store owner. Talk about a bed of needles. Customers have been pouring in since early this morning. Dealing with them is really Korn's job. My only job is to keep up my work. Even with orbits not functioning, I still have a mountain of things to do. Love how she deals with this. It's not just the orbits in town, the scheduled flights are down too. Just as we made a deal with that Imperial too. ADO seems to enjoy terrible timing. Every orbit in the city seems to have stopped working all at once. And nobody has any idea why either. Though I can hardly condone it, I can understand why some people will be driven to riot. With all the strangeness in the city, and all the trouble with the flights, I declare it's enough to unsettle anyone. We'll need to be careful or things might get really bad. It's not like Maybell or the guild is in any different of a boat, you know? The orbits aren't working over at Trino's next door either, apparently. Seems like the problem is affecting the entire town. I thought it was just us, and had Kuono go down to the orbital workshop. Now, next door, they're busier than bees, but with my guns not working, I've got nothing but free time. Good news is, I have a full stock of non-orbital weapons for you bracer types. Take a look. Not yet. Not yet. Were we just there? Okay, we were. But we're still missing one person, aren't we? Did we come from here? We did. Are you the one we're missing? You are, okay. To be completely incapable of using orbments is quite the problem. Orbital technology can honestly be called the lifeblood of our country. If it ceases to work, then that affects us on every imaginable level. I fear hard times await us ahead. All the orbments in our home have stopped working. I sent my son Aureole down to the factory, but I'm afraid this might not be the sort of problem that they can fix. Makes sense. I think that was everybody in town.